Wednesdays here on the program, we like to put the spotlight on the farm women's group Common Ground.
Common Ground is a group of farm women who want to be a resource for consumers who want to know more about how their food is grown. So in this segment, we talk with volunteer Leslie Boswell about why grain bins are such an important tool for producers to have on the farm.
Well, as you drive around the countryside, you may see grain bins. What are they used for? How do farmers use them, and why are they important? Joining me now is Leslie Boswell with Common Ground. Tell us about grain bins. I know we see them all the time, but we never really think about what they're for and how farmers use them.
Well, the name is a little bit self-explanatory when you say grain bins, and you'll see them on almost every farm in the state. You'll see them a lot of times where there is no farm. They're just grain bins out in the fields. And what they're for is to store the grain at harvest time. And that makes a lot of difference to a farmer, because then he can only take his trucks to the bin instead of having to go to an elevator and wait in line, which slows things down if he doesn't have enough trucks. That also gives them the option of marketing their grain at a different time. At harvest time, when you haul your grain into an elevator, frequently they want you to sell it when it comes in. And that may not always be the best price. But if you can store it on your farm, then you've got an option of waiting until the price goes to a better price after harvest. After that harvest push, a lot of times grain will go back up a little bit, and then you can haul it in at a later time, get a little bit better price. And that way you've made a little bit better use of both your time and your money by storing that grain on your farm. Now, it also gives you other options too, is if you can store your grain there, then perhaps you want to bring it back to feed livestock. And farmers will do that. They'll store it there on the grain. They may take it into a feed mill to get it ground for hogs or for chickens, or they may get it rolled or flaked for cattle. And that gives you options on that also. Plus, a lot of times, if you're selling to a feed yard, they have limited storage, and they can only take about so much, like a week's worth of grain at a time is what they usually have storage for, and so they can't take it right now, but they could take it next week or next month, and that also gives you that option too.
Yeah, so really interesting about grain bins. You kind of drive around, you see them, but really they're an important tool for producers around Nebraska.
They're an incredibly valuable tool that farmers use on almost every grain farm in the state.
You are coming back now with a recipe to share.
The weather's kind of warming up a little bit now, but I always like to make soups. And so this will be a soup that I've been making lately.
Never a bad time for soups. And we'll see you in a few minutes.